Hey, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, scoops.com, and brassringmedia.com. Check it out. But I'm here. It's Rumor and Innuendo, and I'm with Mr. Robert Karplus, WE Creative _ish. Robert, off to a hot start already. How are you doing?
It took you less than a second to hit a damn it, Dom.
Right?
It doesn't get any better than that, guys. Let's say hi to some of the folks joining us here in the chat. E says, "What's up?" Dre Owens said, "Hello, RNI. Santos Escobar got the bag back in WWE." Wrestling Old Head says, "Good day to you all. Feels weird that it's Thursday and there's no Dynamite to talk about."
Yeah, wind out of my
Okay,
sails.
okay with that. Mark Marin says, "I made it once again. I'm not sure. More chefs in the kitchen with the roadie will help SmackDown." Johnny Disco says, "Good day, RNI." And Jeff Hanger says, "Good to be back live on RNI after a couple of busy days." Dom, it's a great Thursday here. The sun is shining. There's birds doing whatever the hell birds do.
Sure.
You're screwing up production, so it's a pretty standard Thursday.
Everything's going smoothly, I think.
Couldn't gone smoother. You can take Jeff Henninger's thing off the screen.
Oh, sure.
We got a lot to talk about today, Mister
Yes.
D'Angelo.
We'll
Even if
start
there
off.
is no Dynamite, you start it wherever you want to start it, my man.
Well, let's. I have this one at the bottom here, but might as well start off at the top.
Started at the bottom, and now it's here.
Yes, yes. Santos Escobar actually re-signed with WWE. So we initially thought that he was leaving. His contract was going to be up earlier this week at midnight, and there was speculation perhaps he would show up immediately on Dynamite. However, that was not even in the cards because a new report from PW Insider has confirmed that the former NXT Cruiserweight Champion is officially back with WWE, reversing what many in the industry believe was a final departure. The last-minute deal keeps one of the top luchadors in the world on the WWE roster after a brief, intense period of uncertainty about his future. Robert, we talked about the potential for Santos Escobar and what we were excited about with Legado del Fantasma and that faction. Is this a good move on WWE's part? And it seems like good move on Santos's part.
Yeah, I was enjoying what he was doing on SmackDown. I talked about my enjoyment of the presentation of Legado del Fantasma. The guy certainly can deliver in the ring. He has a presence to him when he's with that group, when he's with Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was a smart decision. Obviously, they're looking differently now at how they sign guys, who they bring back, who they let go, and what that negotiation process looks like. In Vince world, they usually used to release a whole bunch of folks all at once. You forget about them, and then they pop up, and eventually it's like, oh, I guess we should bring that guy back. Escobar, they were clearly working with him. It sounds like it was both financial and creative conversations that, hey, if he's going to stick around, he wants to make it as fruitful as possible. He wants to be able to contribute. And he is one of those talents. And I talk about this from a booking perspective. He's a guy that you want to be able to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
And he's someone where let's not, over fantasy book or anything, but he's a guy who can answer a Sami Zayn open challenge. And then there's a little bit of intrigue because he's going to come out there with the rest of his stable. And then you're bringing two guys out there who are going to potentially equalize things for Sami Zayn. In this case, it could be Rey Fenix and Javon Edwards. And now you're off to the races. 6-man tag matches, singles matches. That kills another 6 weeks of TV right there.
It's true. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Santos was just like really exciting when he kind of went up to the main roster. There's a lot of like feuding with Rey Mysterio and a lot of different potential going on, and it just kind of fizzled out and stifled. And it's just like, man, and you can see the charisma just that he has and everything. Great look. So I'm happy he re-signed with WWE. I know Road Dogg, who we'll talk about here in a second, is a big fan of him as well. So, I mean, if that's an indication, maybe there's some more good things to come for Santos Escobar.
I think they made two smart decisions this week. One was in re-signing Santos Escobar. The other was with finalizing a new deal with Xavier Woods.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct, Robert. That was another thing I was going to follow up with too. Yeah. I mean, you're close with Xavier. Consequences Creed, as I originally knew him as. But what do you think? He's back. He's still with WWE, and Kofi actually resigned early in the year as well. So both New Day guys are still in the mix.
I think it's a great opportunity. That tag division needs kind of a shot in the arm on Raw, and they were hesitant about what to do going forward with Woods and with Kofi,
Hmm.
and they didn't want to put the full weight behind this New Day heel faction, because if he wasn't going to be sticking around, why invest time in him? And they kind of put them with Grayson Waller, and it felt like if Woods didn't re-sign, we would get Kofi and Waller as a tag team, which I don't hate, uh,
Hmm.
but it's not New Day. So now we're going to get Woods, who's obviously wildly entertaining and brings a lot both in, again, in the ring and on promos. And when you have those guys who are versatile, you utilize them and you sign them and you keep them around. That's the advantage to having that kind of talent, where you can kind of put them anywhere on the card and they're going to make your show better.
Hmm. Or any brand for that matter. If you wanted them to go to NXT for a little bit and work a little program, you could do that too to help get people over. And they're there. They're consistent, steady presences. It would be very weird to see Kofi or Xavier Woods at this juncture outside of WWE, if I'm being honest. So,
No, I
no.
think it's the wrestling old head here referred to him as Morning Woods, since they've been in mourning since the tag titles,
That's clever.
which makes a lot of sense. And guys,
Mm.
speaking of Morning
Uh-oh.
Woods, yeah, no, let's we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it early.
Here we go.
Guys, enter the room dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use our promo code RUMOR at checkout, pay $5 shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Yes, thank you, Blue Chew. Thank you. Hey, speaking of blue, let's talk about the blue brand. There's some creative changes reportedly on the horizon. Sources indicate to bodyslam.net that WWE is undergoing creative changes to their team to overall improve the product. According to the report, Road Dogg will continue to be the head of creative for SmackDown, but there will be additions to the team to make the show more enjoyable moving forward. Um, Robert, overall, like the past several weeks and stuff like that, what have kind of been your grade of SmackDown? And do you think a creative shift is warranted here?
No, I've been a fan of SmackDown over the last few weeks. I've been talking about it. I thought it's been well laid out shows. They've flowed nicely. The biggest detriment to that brand has been Cody was off TV because he was
Hmm.
out filming that Street Fighter movie, and the general lack of an opportunity for a direction because there hasn't been a major PLE coming
Hmm.
up. We got that Drew situation with Cody, didn't really go anywhere of any note. You had the MFTs feuding with Sami Zayn, and then they kind of went off TV for a little while. It does feel like there's some momentum on the men's side. I think the women's side is a little stagnant, and for several weeks towards the end of summer, they were just relying heavily on a tag division that seems to have again disappeared.
That's a great point. Yep. Hmm. I'm with you too. Anytime I check out SmackDown or things like that, it feels like that's the almost the tune-in kind of product, the appointment kind of product. A lot of it's being on Friday night and stuff. But like when I tune into Raw, and if you're absent a couple stars, Raw just feels like passable in a lot of ways. Like, oh, I can catch back up next week sometimes. SmackDown felt like at least one big thing's going to happen on the show week
Yeah,
in
I
and week.
think that they've built a lot of intrigue about what's going on. I think you look at the U.S. title picture;
Mhm.
it's in good shape right now with the Sami Zayn Open Challenge. At the world title level, Cody, once you get past this Seth Rollins piece, it looks like it's going to be him and Randy Orton, which I
Right.
think will be a hell of a lot of fun to watch how that develops. You're going to bring Solo and those guys back into the fold as a dominant heel faction as they most likely wind down the Wyatts, because they're building to that match with the Street Profits. You've
Mhm.
still got Damian Priest on SmackDown who you can utilize and build up. Jacob Fatu is a huge star for the company. It looks like him and Drew are going to be in a little program right now. You've got Aleister Black on the show. I think they do have a great roster, and they tend to use their talent really, really well. The report that's out there doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They're like, oh, Road doesn't be in charge. We're going to find ways to make it more entertaining. I don't know if that means they're bringing in a new segment producer who's going to be focusing on doing backstage interstitials, injecting some humor into the show. Not quite sure. It's one of these like vague news reports that sounds like a news report but isn't.
Right, and like the thing too, and I clearly have a bias because I know Road Dogg and stuff like that, but the element that he brings into it, he does have the old school aspect of like Bob Armstrong and stuff like that, but he's very much aware of the sports entertainment style of product. So, and I do think we get that pretty consistently on SmackDown in a lot of ways. So, yeah, I like the guys at Body Slam, but I still like it's a very blurry kind of non-confirming kind of report, I think.
It's a non-story story, and it's like, what are we going to see that's suddenly different? So now anything that is entertaining on SmackDown, like, oh, this is because of the change.
Mm-hmm.
What change? There's constant change going on in the creative teams. People
Yeah.
do not stick around for terribly long. Like if you're there for a year, that's like a decade anywhere else.
It's true.
So I don't, and not to mention the fact they do have those reality shows that they're filming for the writers' room. So I don't know if this is part of that, but we'll
It'll
see.
be interesting to see what kind of shifts will be if we do see any like clear, distinct difference on the program. But yeah, overall, I didn't think SmackDown needed a whole lot of change, to be honest. Yeah, I think you're right with the
I
women's
think
division.
it's Raw that can use a little bit of the fresh paint of coat, if you will.
Yes, I agree with you there, Robert. Hey, Roman Reigns feels like crap, Robert. This he
Wait,
happened.
what?
Yes. He was on Pat McAfee, and he flat out said, in Build to Perth, Crown Jewel here, that he feels like crap. My body does not feel good. I was down there in Australia to film Street Fighter not too long ago. The flight back and forth has not been nice. I've been jet lagged for, I feel like, 4 weeks in a row now. So why not just go down there and try to kill myself? It is what it is. We're going to head against the wall, Goldberg style, just reckless abandon. You can't do much worse than I feel now. So let's just go mess it up physically. Seems like kind of in character kind of stuff, but do you think there's some substance to what Roman Reigns is saying and his kind of schedule and where he's at right now in his career for WWE?
Well, all those returns have to take a lot ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of it is you're telling a story. Every time he's out there, he's a very media savvy guy. He's a smart guy. So I don't think he's saying anything there to actively take shots at the company. But it is furthering this notion of, my body's banged up. I'm tired. And now I have to go in there and go wrestle Bronson Reed. So it's smart to lower expectations where people can be like, is Roman really going to be 100% for this? He's probably really tired from filming and yada, yada, yada. So if he goes out there and delivers a blockbuster match, people are going to be like, oh my God, this is great. And if it's not a blockbuster match, be like, well, he's tired. He's been street fighting.
Mm-hmm. He has been. And the fact too, I'm sure Pat McAfee will make a mention of this maybe during the PLE, or he might not be there. Actually,
Pat's not going to Australia.
Never mind. He won't.
No.
So look, maybe Michael Cole might bring it up.
The flight to Australia, it's a very long flight.
Have you been there?
Have I been to Australia? No.
Yeah.
No. I would love to go to Australia. I'm sure it's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
There's Chaz Walls is all over the place.
I'd hug a koala and fight a kangaroo.
What do you have against kangaroos?
No reason. They just feel like they're a little feisty, and I think I could mix it up. So.
This is my fault for clicking on the link today and joining the show, guys. This one's on me. This isn't on you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Roman feels like crap, but I think part of what we're seeing with him right now is this kind of muddied malaise of a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
In that same Pat McAfee interview, he said, Jimmy Uso needs to shut up.
Right.
They're teasing something, and we can't see where the tea leaves are going on this. For the last few years, we've been able to kind of see the notes of this storyline. And right now we're kind of taking it at face value that, there's definitely a plan for Roman and what's going on with Jay and what's going on with CM Punk and what's going on with LA Knight and what's going on with Jimmy and what's going on with the Vision. We're hoping, but nothing is kind of coalescing the way that it had been previously. And I think that is why there's some pause for concern. I think that's why a story like, oh, they're making some changes to creative is going to catch some traction, because while it is still a lucrative brand and an exciting brand, it does feel like there's just something slightly out of place.
Yeah, it really does too, Robert. And like, I am intrigued by the stories of, hey, what's going on with Jimmy and Jay to an extent, but like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of moving elements, and it's not something that I don't think fans can really latch on to and be like, what is really happening? It's not super engaging because it feels so confusing in a lot of ways. So yeah, I don't. It's going to be a work in progress, and it has continued to be. Um, Hey, something else though. Did you happen to see this little incident that Braun Strowman and Paul Heyman have had online
I was
recently?
just getting texts about that, actually.
Yes. So, um, apparently, so on Raw, Paul Heyman said that Roman has never been carried out on a stretcher and mentioned all that stuff. Well, Braun Strowman, no longer with WWE, happened to take exception with that and posted images of Strowman wrecking Roman Reigns several years back and him actually being stretchered out. And then Strowman happened to say on his X account, I believe it is, yeah, okay, Oswald Cobblepot. Well, Paul Heyman actually responded and happened to say, "Dear Mr. Strowman, your post was brought to my attention. I have nothing negative to say about you, nor to you, sir. In fact, I am actually relieved and indeed celebratory to learn you're still alive. Something most of us didn't realize and even fewer cared about. With love and respect, Paul Heyman." I believe Braun also did just respond too. So let me see if I can pull that up. But what are your initial thoughts on that, Robert?
I mean, Oswald Cobblepot obviously is the Penguin,
Yes.
so he's taking the shot. Um, we live in an industry where Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant for the first time ever in WrestleMania 3, and any
Mm-hmm.
footage that you have seen of him slamming Andre the Giant previously was clearly AI
Yes.
and doctored. It's wrestling, and also Braun. If you're listening, um, Paul Heyman is a heel. Heels tell mistruths. So it is very possible that at another point in time in Roman Reigns' very long, very illustrious career, he was stretchered out. And that Paul Heyman, a man who generally has a reputation for stellar honesty, may have been slightly exaggerating the truth on camera to
Hmm.
further a story.
Hmm.
Heyman's response to Braun Strowman is the kind of scorched earth response that you give to someone who the company has no interest in ever bringing back. And I think that's what's the most telling thing about it. I don't, you know, it's one of those moments where you don't dangle the bait.
Mhm.
And Braun Strowman dangled the bait. He's like, hey, clearly I put this guy on a stretcher. Does WWE probably know this? Yes. In fact, I'm pretty sure they sold an ambulance toy with Braun Strowman at one point in time.
They did. Yes.
Yeah, I know they did. That was me doing the
Okay.
when someone like Paul Heyman responds in such a way of, I didn't even know you were still alive. And I'm relieved to hear that, unlike other people here who probably are not as happy to know that you're still walking above ground. Paul Heyman is never going to do or say something in a situation where he may get in trouble with the office. So if Braun Strowman was a guy they're like, oh, we're planning on bringing him back the next couple months. So you need to be cool on that. He ain't posting that. This is a way of saying this guy came back multiple times. He didn't produce. It was very costly. We're done with him. That is what I took away from this message.
Yeah, that is pretty telling, right?
So
Um,
it's a challenge out there. WWE is a very strange political place, and when you post anything on social, big, small, indifferent, like you can't like a post for a talent who's, let's say, in another company.
mhm.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go ahead and do that and go down that path. You don't want to comment on things going on in the broader industry because it winds up becoming clickbait in a story. I keep hearing myself on your side.
I don't understand why. I had a Fightful website open, and they're kind of wonky, so maybe that was causing some problems.
Way to bury your boy Sean Ross Sapp.
There's some an ad going on.
I'll take it. Look, and it's a weird wrestling week. It's a weird wrestling week because so tomorrow, by the time that we are on, SmackDown would have already happened.
Holy smokes, you're right.
But it wouldn't have aired here. So it's going to be a challenging. It's going to be a tough show because we can't do a SmackDown preview.
No,
Because you can't preview a show that's already happened because then we sound stupid. But we're also not a spoiler-heavy show where we're going to be like, hey, here's who won the Aleister Black Damian Priest match or the World Tag Team title match. So probably tomorrow we'll do a preview of Crown Jewel.
yes,
Most likely.
yeah, odds are, but then we'll also be clued in on what happened on SmackDown, so we'll make predictions that might. I guess we could still make a pretty good.
No, we're not. We don't have to talk about anything that happened on SmackDown. SmackDown is, I'm sure, it's a fine program. I'm pretty sure. We can do fairly intelligent predictions about what's going to happen at the Saturday morning show,
Yes.
without knowing what happened on SmackDown, unless you want to call your good friend Road Dogg,
Hey,
and be
yeah.
like, "Hey, are
Road
you
Dogg.
are you the creative guy? Are you the third man? Are you now on the creative team?"
Who knows? Who knows, right?
I would probably know.
Yeah,
I'm
you probably
pretty
would
sure I would have included in advance. Though it has happened before. People I know wind up on creative, and I'm just like, wait, what?
know. Wait, it has happened before, huh?
But that's the beauty of kayfabe, and that's the beauty of joining us here live
Mhm.
every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including WWE Creative _ISH X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo and ad-free shows. You can join me and Scott Chaplin on Working Stiff, which we should be recording it hopefully later on this afternoon. So Dom will have it up this evening for your
Mhm.
listening pleasure. And you can catch the audio version of Rumor and Innuendo wherever you get your podcasts. And hopefully it comes out in both ears.
It will this time.
We're working hard. We're working hard on figuring out this this Alexander Graham Bell style audio. So on, don't do that. That was
It's
a
like a
weird.
rotary phone.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
know
rotary-
what you were trying to make that look like. It didn't look like that.
It didn't look like that.
On
Me
behalf
too,
of on behalf of the wildly gesticulating Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Put your dukes up, kangaroo. Let's go.